Humans are intrinsically poor at grasping large numbers like 160,000, unless put in terms of things that we understand and know and can perhaps grasp. So 160,000 Snickers bars could fill a room of a certain volume. That reaches us more than 160,000, well, say, deaths due to coronavirus. So I'm going to put this in terms of skulls. Now, the average human skull is about 15 centimeters tall, 17 centimeters long, and 13 centimeters wide. Average skull. If one were to make a stack of skulls, one skull wide, you could reach the top of the Space Needle in approximately 1,226 skulls, which we could have done on March 25th if we used the victims of the coronavirus as a method of measurement, which is 10 days into our 15 days to flatten the curve measurement. A prison cell is 6 feet by 8 feet, and assuming a 10-foot tall ceiling, that could fit 4,118 skulls in its volume, which we reached on March 30th, 5 days before our administration began pushing to reopen by the cure cannot be worse than the disease. Now, you can maybe argue that skulls are not cubes, and in fact, if you stacked skulls with upside down and upside up skulls, you could fit this far more efficiently. I'd love to use your calculations if you'd be so willing to do so, but I'm using cubes because these are back of the envelope. A 90 by 90 foot baseball diamond could contain 34,050 skulls in its area, assuming setting them upright and not having any skulls touching one another and each giving them their own square. That is something we could have reached on April 16th, 2 days after our administration defunded the World Health Organization, or at least moved to do so. 6 days after the joke that you can use disinfectants in the lungs, you could fill a 30-foot by 50-foot by 5-foot in-ground pool with 64,524 skulls. Safeco Field, if you put the baseball diamond with all the aforementioned skulls, and then put one skull in every single seat, which you can't do with humans at this point, we could have fit the 81,992 necessary skulls for that on May 10th, which is the same day that our administration ripped on Obama's terrible swine flu response and boasted on how our response to coronavirus has been so much better. A 1,300 square foot house is a good place to live. You have if you want 3 bedrooms, a kitchen, living room, utility closet, master bathroom, closets, porch. It can fit 111,551 skulls to a depth of 10 feet. Something we reached on June 3rd, which was about 2 years after we dismissed the pandemic response team. Now, this Friday, we will be able to fill the Oval Office with skulls. That is not just assuming a 10-foot ceiling, but rather doing the calculations of the total volume of the Oval Office. I assume we'd be removing the couches and HRS Resolute desk before filling it with skulls, but we would be able to do that on Friday. Now, this wouldn't be the first time that skulls could be used as a measurement. In fact, Tamerlane, Mongolian conqueror, used to build pyramids out of skulls. And he would build pyramids of about 10,000 skulls to terrify his enemies into submission. If we were to build a square pyramid of skulls, assuming good skull balance, with one skull balanced on 4 skulls, balanced on 9 skulls, balanced on 16 skulls, etc., we could form a pyramid that would be 77 skulls high. This pyramid shown is about 20, maybe 30 skulls high. This would be 34-foot tall skull pyramid, which would be approximately 2 giraffes full, and filming and getting a square area of around 30 to 34 feet. That is our current response to the pandemic in terms of skulls. Now, if you think of in terms of per capita deaths, we are actually better than San Marino, which is a small nation that has a far worse per capita death rate. If you think of per unit sickness death rate, ours is better than some countries like, some third world countries somewhere. So we do have a better response than some if you take it in terms of those. But if you want to take it in terms of sheer skulls, this is a monument to our victory over the coronavirus.